friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, we're going to be going over the expenses for the last 10 days of the month. I've already kind of filled in my expense tracker, but we're going to go down the list and I'm going to share with you what we spent. We're going to plug all of these numbers into my monthly budget here so that I can get a feel for how the last part of the month went. And we're going to go ahead and close out my budget and find out whether we are over or under budget for the month. If you're interested in all of that, just keep right on watching. So for the sake of time, I went ahead and wrote all of my expenses out for the week, but I haven't kind of categorized everything with my highlighters and gotten a total for my variable spending. So we're going to do that together, and as we go, I'm going to kind of explain what we spent in the last 10 days. You can see it was not a lot. We tried really hard to keep our spending to a minimum because we knew that we were already over budget in some categories. So I tried to keep it minimal, and we'll kind of have to see together how I did. So I'm going to start out with the grocery transactions. I'm going to highlight them in this gold color. I use Mildliners to categorize all of my spending just to make it a little bit easier on myself to find everything. So I'm just going to go down the line and highlight all the grocery transactions, and we're going to add them up using my calculator, which I have just pulled a button off of. I have it right here. Let's see if I can get this guy to go back on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so groceries. Starting out with, we went to Circle K and grabbed some drinks. I believe this was for a soccer game. $10.99. Something exciting that's happening in October is the soccer season is ending, so hopefully that will mean we spend less money because, oh Lord, have we spent a lot of money this soccer season. And then we did $188.75 for our weekly groceries at Walmart. And then I must have forgotten some things because then the next day we had another Walmart transaction for $41.63. So all told, for the last 10 days of the month, which is what we were tracking, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I never got around to doing a check-in at the end of last week. What it should have been was the 20th through what? Let me take a look at my calendar. The 20th through the 26th, and then the 27th through the 30th would have been kind of like the last half week. Instead, I just kind of tracked everything all at once at the end of the month. So for groceries, we said $241.37. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug that right in to my budget, and we'll kind of close things out as we go. So we've got to go ahead and fill in. I guess I'm just going to put it here under week 3. Technically it should have been week 3 and week 4, but we've already explained that. So I'm going to write in my categories here. They are grocery, eating out, gas, my husband's spending money, my spending money, Austin's allowance. Austin is my 14-year-old son, for any of you who are new here, and miscellaneous, which I just realized for miscellaneous I need to pull in my envelope, which is in my wallet, in my purse, in my living room, so I'll have to go and grab that. But for now, let's just talk about grocery. We spent $241.37. Last time we checked in, we had $408.94 remaining, which is really great. That means that we came in under budget for groceries, which is awesome because we know we were over budget in eating out. So I'm going to take that $408.94, subtract the $241.37, and that leaves us with $167.57 remaining. That seems high. I'm going to double check and make sure I didn't leave out any transactions here. Grocery, grocery, grocery. I don't think I did. So that's what we're going to go with. I'm just going to double check because that does seem pretty high. Just want to make sure I didn't leave out a grocery trip when I was tracking my transactions. Give me just a sec. Alright, I knew it was too good to be true. I definitely skipped a transaction. So on the 20th, we went to Walmart, and that was grocery. And the amount that we spent was $164.02. So yeah, no, we're not $167 under budget. We are under budget by a tiny bit, but I knew that was way too good to be true. So let me grab some white out and fix some things here. We're gonna erase this because we definitely spent more than that. We're gonna erase. I'm gonna pull this worksheet right out here to make it a little bit easier on myself so that I'm not working against the coil, or the discs rather. I had such high hopes that this video would go super short, super well, and I wouldn't make any major mistakes. But here we are, what, like 10 minutes into the video? Not even. And we've already made our first major mistake. So, alright. Let's add up these grocery transactions again. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And we'll fill that back in. Alright, let's just start from scratch. So $10.99 plus $188.75 plus $41.63 plus $164.02 is $405.39. So we spent $405.39. We had $408.94 remaining of our grocery budget after the first 2 weeks of spending, which means that we have $3.55 remaining. The month is over, so we came in under budget, but just by a tiny little bit. So if we have $355 in our budget remaining, and we started out with $1,000 in our grocery budget, that means for the month of September, we spent $996.45 for groceries. So we're under budget there, not too bad. But unfortunately, we're not under budget enough to make up for all of the overspending we did in eating out. So let's talk about that. Okay, eating out. So as of the last time we checked in, we still had 10 days of the month. We were already over budget by $133.13. So that should have meant we didn't eat out at all. But of course, knowing us, we did anyway. So we did go to McDonald's. I actually went to McDonald's after an appointment that I had. I grabbed myself some breakfast and Robbie some breakfast as well. And that was $16.47. And then we also ate out, well, we got a cup of coffee at Tim Hortons. Excuse me. I'm going to try really hard not to go to Tim Hortons at all in October, but if I do go to Tim Hortons in October, it's going to come out of my spending money rather than my eating out money. I have an espresso machine at home. There's no excuse for that. So $19.39 is what we spent. We actually did have another meal out, but we covered that with some money that we got unexpectedly. So that was nice. So eating out. $19.39. So yeah, that means then for eating out, we spent $19.39. Last time we checked in, we were negative $133.13. So if we take $133.13 and we add the $19.39 that we spent, that means we are now negative for the month $152.52, which means we budgeted $200 total for the month. And if we're $152 over budget, that means we spent $352.52. So no bueno there. The thing of it is, you guys, we ate out this much. We bought this much in groceries. We have a lot of groceries left over, meat in the freezer, stuff like that, that we didn't eat because we did so much eating out. So moving into October, I think I'm going to combine eating out and grocery again. I've done that in the past. Sometimes it works out for me, sometimes it doesn't. This is the category that we struggle with the most, this eating out. So what I'm going to try to do in October is combine the two, and obviously if we're eating out more, then we should be buying fewer groceries. We are also starting out the month of October with a bit of a stockpile for meat in our freezers, so maybe I can budget a little bit less. We'll see. I haven't really thought out October's budget too much yet, but this has got to stop. I either need to be more realistic and budget higher for eating out, or I need to eat out less. Chances are I'm not going to eat out less, so I need to figure it out for sure. Okay. Going back to my expense tracker, you guys will have to let me know what you think of this bouncing back and forth, if it's confusing or if it's working out okay. I feel like just going line by line, category by category makes sense for me. Okay. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do gas. So I'm going to use pink for gas. We had one transaction on the 22nd for $40.50. We didn't quite fill up. We just kind of added some gas to our gas tank. And then on the 25th, we did fill up. So we put like, I don't know, 3/4 of a tank here with this $40. Drove a bunch and then finally filled up on the 25th for $57.92 for a total of $98.42 for gas, which I didn't show you, but there it is, $98.42. So gas, $98.42. Go ahead and put it in this category here for what I spent. And actually I'm going to go ahead and write what that time frame was. So 9:20 to 9:30. That way if I'm looking back on this budget, I don't think that, you know, we spent $98 in 1 week. This was obviously almost 2 weeks, right? 10 days, week and a half. So $98.42 is what we spent. We only had $88 remaining. So we're over budget again. Seems to be the trend as of late. So 88 minus 98.42 means we are $10.42 over budget. We budgeted a total of $250. So that $250 plus the $10.42, we are over budget. That means we spent a total of $260.42 in gas. That's a lot. I'm hoping October will be less. Granted, my husband will be doing hunting, but we just have like 2 more weeks of soccer and then soccer's done. And that's where a lot of our gas money has been going. Okay, let's do bills next. So we don't really need a total for bills, but we'll get one anyway. So we paid State Farm, which was $200.89. We paid Netflix. which was $15.49. And that was it for bills. And that total was $216.38. Now we don't write down bills here. This is for variable spending. All of my bills are listed here in the monthly section. So, oh, I missed one. Look at you guys. I'm such a mess. $17.17 for bills as well. So, this is wrong. I need to fix this. Sorry, you guys. I'm very distracted. My husband is out hunting, and he keeps texting me, and it's very distracting for me. So, 17 means it was $233.55 for bills. Okay. And I just really smeared that, but that's okay. So now I'm going to transfer this information here. So State Farm, $200.89. That is car insurance. You can see we only budgeted $200, so we're over budget there as well, but not by much, so that's nice. Obviously, going under budget is better, but we'll take what we can get. Motorcycle insurance was $17.17, so we're under budget there by a few pennies. And last but not least then was Netflix. We budgeted $16. We spent $15.49, so we're under budget there as well. Okay, so that takes care of all the bills. Only thing we have left to account for then is debt and the stuff we do in cash. So we'll do debt really quickly. We paid Ashley for $158. We paid First Merchants Bank for $150 for a total of $308. Again, the total here doesn't really matter, but to be consistent, we'll go ahead and write it in. So for debt, we paid $308. And the debt payments go down here, which I've already filled them in. So for Ashley, we only budgeted $156, but the actual amount was $158. For First Merchants Bank, we budgeted $150, we paid $150. So we planned to spend a total of $1306 in the month of September towards debt. The amount we actually spent was $1308, which can go in here. You can see debt here. We budgeted $1306. We paid $1308. All right. Spending is next. So, for my husband spending money, we already know. I give him $60 a week. There were 2 Tuesdays during that time frame, right? Let me pull up my calendar here. The 20th through the 30th, 1 payday, 2 paydays. I always give him his $60 cash on payday. So that means it was $120 I gave him. $120 is what we had remaining, so he is right on track there. For my spending, I actually didn't have any spending, which is really, really nice. $44.57 is what I had remaining, and that's what I will continue to have remaining, and I'm probably going to put that towards some of the overspending we did in some of these other categories. Austin, I give him $25 a week for his allowance. He had $50 left. He got paid twice. That's $50. So he has nothing remaining there. And now miscellaneous, I need to pull my cash envelope for so we can find out what, if anything, I have remaining there, because we do all our miscellaneous spending in cash. So I'll be right back with that. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled my miscellaneous envelope out of my wallet just to avoid flashing my ID and my credit cards and everything. And I do have some cash remaining. So we had a total of $200 set aside for miscellaneous. Gave myself the cash, I don't even remember, but this is what I have left for the month. So of that $200, we spent everything except this that I have in my hand. So the amount that we had remaining last time we checked in was $117. Of that $117, we have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 117 minus 22 is 95. So that means we spent 95 during the last 10 days of the month. We had 22 remaining. And so that means that for the month overall, 200 minus the 22 we have left, we spent 178. Okay, so the only thing I need to finish up here then is spending before we go into what we're going to save and what we're going to put towards sinking funds. So, for spending, we had a total of $500. We have remaining the $44.57 of my spending money because Austin and Eric both spent their money. So that means of our spending money, we spent $455.43. Before I do anything else, I need to really quickly figure out what envelope I'm going to stuff for the last envelope of the month. You guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, I have a 50 envelope challenge. I fill an envelope a week, and that money goes towards my son's future car. So I have the envelopes here, and I think what I'm going to do, because we have definitely overspent in a lot of categories, is I'm just going to find the lowest one that we have here, which is $7. And I'm just going to stuff that. The rest of these are going to go back in the drawer until next week. We're going to save $7. I don't even know. I budgeted differently than this, but that's okay. $7. I'm going to go ahead and just take this cash to stuff it. 5, 6, 7. So that takes care of the savings. And that means that we saved a total for my son's car in the month, not a whole lot. 16 plus 14 plus 27 plus 7, $64 was the total. So we had $148 that we could have spent on savings. We only saved 64. The rest of that will go towards offsetting some of this overage. Okay, so let's add everything up and see what we have remaining of our $6,000 that we started the month with to figure out what we can put towards our sinking funds. So I'm just going to set all this off to the side. We'll deal with that momentarily. This is done. Everything is filled in here except the sinking funds. So let's go ahead and go down the line and add it up. 553
plus 3356 plus 69 plus 1581 plus 120 plus 203 plus 67 plus 40 plus 10 plus 17 plus 289 I'm sorry, 1799 1549 1308 996 45 352 52 260 42 455 43 178 plus 64
plus 999, $4,457.16. I think that's probably wrong, so I'm going to try this again off camera, and I'll come back with the total in a minute, and we'll figure out what we can put towards sinking funds. Alright, you guys, so I double and triple checked, and the amount that we have all together here is is $4,987.72. And I can't believe it, but we actually overall managed to come in under budget. Because if I take that $1,000 that I budgeted towards our sinking funds and add it to that total, that's $5,987.72, which is less than our $6,000. So I am a little bit in shock. I thought for sure with all of the overages that we had, all of the overspending we did in various categories, that we were going to be over budget overall for the month, but we weren't. So really quickly, what I'm going to do just to illustrate to myself, I'm looking for a green highlighter and I'm not seeing one. I guess I'm going to use blue. I'm going to go down each of these categories and I'm going to highlight in blue the categories we were under budget, and I'm going to highlight in red the categories that we were over budget, so we can see, you know, how well we did. I'm still going to go ahead and budget the $1,000 for sinking funds. I'm not going to bother adding that extra $12 or whatever. I'm just going to say that we came in under budget overall at $5,987.72. So let's see where we were over budget, where we were under budget. And yeah, I guess if we're right on the budget, that'll go in this blue color too. So under budget, under budget, under budget, under budget, right on, right on, right on, right on, under budget, under budget. We were over budget here, but just by a little. Under budget, over here, but just by a few dollars. Under budget for grocery, over budget and eating out, as you do. Oh, over budget for gas, but under budget for spending, under budget for miscellaneous, under budget for savings, right on for sinking funds, and over budget here because we didn't budget for this. So yeah, I sort of catastrophized this scenario in my head, but if we look, it was really only over budget in 5 categories, right? Like, you don't want to ever be over budget at all. But for the categories I was over budget in, the only one that's really like terrible, like a huge amount, is our eating out. Everything else is just like a few pennies, a couple of dollars, you know, 10, 20. So, I mean, if it weren't for the eating out, we would have only been like $25 over budget or whatever. And clearly that means that we came in under budget significantly in some of these other categories, and that made up the difference. So like with our water bill, that came in less than we expected by quite a bit. This Planet Fitness came in a little bit less than I thought it would. A few dollars here. We picked up a bit of cash here with my spending. And miscellaneous. So overall, oh, and the savings, we saved significantly less. There's the rub right there, right? Like, I could take that $12 or whatever and put that back towards the savings if I wanted to, but it's $12. I'm just going to roll it over into next month. So overall, even though there's a lot of red on that page, it's not too terrible. We still came in under budget. I have $1,000 that I'm going to be able to put into sinking funds for October. So be on the lookout. Coming up next, I will be having my sinking fund closeout for September and my October stuffing. So be on the lookout for that. thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you check out my Etsy shop for all of my budget printables. You can still get September's design, which is this beautiful succulent pattern. And of course, you can get them undated so that you can use them any month of the year, but I have lots of other worksheets as well in various patterns. You'll be seeing October's budget coming soon, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!